Hey everyone, it's Tracy Martirana here from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been following along, this is month 9 of my self-development book club. As you might recall, I set a reading goal at the beginning of the year to either read or reread a self-development book every month and then share it with you. Over the year, I have read some really good books, so if you've missed some, be sure to check out the description box below. I will link the videos that I've done for all the other books so that you can check them out and hopefully pick out a couple winners for yourself. What was my 9th book? It was Outer Clutter. No. What was my 9th book? It was Outer Order, Inner Calm by Gretchen Rubin. The subtitle to this book is Declutter and Organize to Make More Room for Happiness. That sounds good. I have a slight addiction to anything regarding decluttering and organization, including books, but also including YouTube channels, blogs, really anything. I love the idea of having less, and reading books like this have inspired me to declutter a lot of the junk in my house. I could definitely go further, and I plan to go further, but there is something to be said for getting rid of the excess in your life. And this book was published in, what I want to say, 2019. So it is a little bit on the older side, so you should be able to get a copy in the library. It should be easy to find. And it's written in a way that makes it very, very sort of like quick and easy to read. It's all sort of bite-sized, digestible pieces that are only, a page or so long. There's a couple that are multiple pages, but most of them look like a couple little tidbits, 2 in 1 page. So it's like short, sort of like pieces of inspiration and tools to help. So let's talk about how this book is arranged. The book is broken down into 5 sections. So I'm going to go through them and just give you a few of the tips that sort of stuck out to me, but there are several others. So definitely, if this sounds interesting to you at all, get your own copy and read all of the little tidbits. Section 1 is titled Making Choices, and it is about decluttering, getting rid of just some of the extraneous crap that we have in our homes and in our lives. Let me just read to you a couple of the tidbits that I thoroughly enjoyed. While decluttering, Rubin asks us to consider 3 questions. Do you need it? Do you love it? And do you use it? If the answer to all 3 is no, it's a very easy decision. Get rid of it. Do you need more than 1? There are many things that we keep duplicates of. Sometimes that's helpful to have maybe 2 of something, but how many do you really need? And do you even need duplicates of some of the things that you have duplicates of? Beware of the someone someday rationale, which is to look at something and say, okay, maybe I don't use it, maybe I don't love it, maybe I don't need it, but someone someday is going to use this. Now, you're probably thinking that someone is going to be someone in your circle, but chances are it's not. So if you really want someone someday to be able to use it, donate it and increase the chances that it will fall to the right person at the right time. Remember, in most circumstances, we do not need to make the most perfect choice. We just need to make a good enough choice. So don't worry about getting rid of that one thing that maybe next year you'll think, oh, I could have used that if I had it. You made a choice. It was good enough. Try to avoid bringing new things into the home, because there is this thing in psychology called the endowment effect, which means once you own it, it's much harder to get rid of it. Whether you use it, need it, or love it, it's yours. And you don't want to get rid of your own stuff. So just don't bring it home to begin with, and you don't have to worry about it. She recommends definitely looking at your storage space. If you are paying for a storage space, consider what's in it. Is it things that you are using? That do you go and get things out and use them and just return them? Or is it just a black hole where things go to die? If you put stuff in a storage space and then you never go back to retrieve it periodically, you're just storing stuff that you don't need or use. So get rid of it and ditch the storage space. As you're evaluating your stuff, looking to decide, are you getting rid of it? Gretchen Rubin recommends to consider, if you were moving, would you take the time to pack it, to wrap it up, to put it in a box, to pay somebody to transport it, to then unpackage it and try to find a new home for it? Or if you were moving, would you be likely to just say, donate that? If you would donate it instead of taking the energy to move it, just get rid of it now. Don't wait for a move. Section 2 is called creating order. And this is not about running out to the Container Store or to Target to buy a bunch of bins to organize stuff. This is about sort of troubleshooting trouble spots in your house, places where clutter just wants to naturally accumulate. And then it's also about creating habits that help you maintain the level of declutteredness. So I'll read you a few of those tips that I loved. Beware of clutter magnets. So there are places where things just pile up. And then once you put one thing there, clutter starts attracting clutter. So making sure you are periodically, maybe even daily, cleaning off some like those high clutter areas helps reduce clutter accumulating again in the future. Consider assigning each day of the week a cleaning or work task. So example being like Saturday is laundry day, or might be Sunday's your bake and cook day, or if it's at work, maybe it's Tuesday is the day we create, I don't know, whatever spreadsheet you might need to update, like think of assigning tasks to a day so that you have a system to maintain those types of tasks that need to be maintained. Does that make sense? Pick up as you move through the day. So when you move from one room to the other, bring something with you that needs to go back, or garbage that needs to go in the garbage. The same is true at work as you go from one task to the other. If you can close out and finish one task and actually file it away versus letting it pile up, just taking care of things as the day progresses keeps you from ending up with this big pile of crap at the end of the day. Identify the exact place for everything. And I know that is a high bar because we always have things that don't really have a home. They just kind of float around. I'll keep this pair of scissors here until I need them in this room, and then they'll live here in this basket, but then maybe I'll grab them and move them into my office one day. If you have something like that, maybe you need multiple. Maybe that's a time you need multiples, right? Maybe a pair of scissors in 2 different places. Or maybe you just need to choose a place where this is where the scissors always live. You use them in this room and then you bring them back and put them back where they belong. If you have things in your house that don't have a home, either get rid of them or figure out where they live. Create a bowl of requirements. This is something like the stuff that you have to grab and take with you every time you leave the house. I did this recently for my husband. We've tried a couple methods. We're still trying to figure out exactly what works. But originally I found him a big tray, like almost like a serving tray that we'd put on top of the refrigerator. And I said, put all of your stuff in, like your wallet, your drum key, because he's a drummer, whatever else you normally have with you, your sunglasses, put it up there at the end of the day. And then in the morning when you have to leave, you just grab the stuff out. That didn't really work because, for one, it's up on the refrigerator and he's a very visual person. And I think it was too big. So then we just started putting everything in it. If you don't know what to do with it, stick it up there. We'll deal with it later. And so what he would still end up doing is pulling out the things he was going to need tomorrow and then leaving them on the kitchen counter, which was what I was trying to avoid. So then I found a smaller container that sits not on the kitchen counter, but on a stool right next to the kitchen counter, that we're trying to do just, the pocket knife, the wallet, the sunglasses, any change or money, whatever it might be that he's going to put down at the end of the day and pick up. So far, it's working okay. It might need to be tweaked, but creating something like that so that your daily stuff doesn't end up like all over the place and you're not scrambling for, keys or your wallet or where are those things when you're walking out the door. You know exactly where they are. They're in the bowl of requirements. And I just like that name. She also suggests maybe creating a mystery box. So we all have like keys and cables and chargers and miscellaneous parts and things that we come across that we don't really know what it goes to. So we're very hesitant to throw it away because you'd hate to throw that cable away and then realize in 6 months, like, oh, it went to this one piece of electronics that I was just going to use and now I can't. So if you have that type of thing, a small box, you shouldn't need a big box for this, but just a little box, a nice little decorative box, put all that stuff in it whenever you come across it. Then when all of a sudden you're looking for a cable, that's the first place you're going to go to look. Now you can take that a step further and actually maybe box it all up, put a date on it of a year from now or 2 years from now. And then if you haven't opened it up by then to look for anything, it's pretty certain that it's all garbage, that the electronics that the cables go to are long gone, or you have duplicates so that you've never needed one, whatever it might be. Whichever version of that works, but it is a way to at least keep all that stuff together so that you don't have random cables all over the place. And then when you need something, you know where to look. I like that idea. I think I'm going to try it. Although I must say, I guess I use this idea a little bit. I do have a box of keys over the years that we've collected that we no longer know what they go to, but I don't want to be in that situation one day where I'm like, oh, I have this lock. Where's the key to it? And then we can just go to this box and try the 15 keys. Maybe one of them will work. Section 3 is called Know Yourself and Others, because Gretchen Rubin points out that I can tell you exactly like what system works for me, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So we have to know ourselves to know how to create the habits, how to set up our home in a way that works. And this is completely off the subject of this book, but on that subject of knowing yourself, I highly, highly, highly recommend going to, what is the website? I think it's clutterbug.com. I'll put a link down in the description box. But Cass from Clutterbug, she's one of my favorite YouTube people to watch. And she put together a little system of like 4 identifiers. They're all bugs. There's like a ladybug and a cricket and a bee and a butterfly. And it's all sort of how you organize stuff. So there's a quiz that she has free. You can take it, learn sort of what you are, but that helps you know yourself and learn how to organize yourself, your house, for the way that you function, the way that your brain works. Check it out. So some example questions from this book would be, when you go to declutter, are you a sprinter or a marathoner? Would you rather set aside like 15 minutes a day for a week or so to kind of get a project done to declutter a room? Or would you take all day Sunday and be like, I just want to work on it for 7 hours and have like a big presto changeo, this room feels amazingly different? What method works for you? Know yourself. If you are someone who just wants to do little tiny things, like that's what you have time and energy for, but you try to force yourself to spend a day decluttering, it's not going to work for you, and vice versa. So know yourself. Look around your house and figure out what clutter, what areas bother you the most, and then focus there. Put your effort in the areas that just irritate the crap out of you every single day. You don't start your decluttering in the basement or in the attic or in a closet that nobody goes into. You do the areas that are just like right there driving you nuts. Focus on those, and what drives you nuts will probably be different than what drives me nuts, and that's okay. When you look around your house at your furniture or your clothes, are you buying things and collecting things for your true life or from some fictionalized version of what you want life to be? If you are a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you work from home, but your closet is full of like business suits and fancy dresses, then that probably doesn't make sense. You need to maybe declutter some of that and then bring in the things that actually fit the life, your life, the way you live it. And lastly, in this section, don't let perfect be the enemy of good enough. And this, I feel, is life-changing in all sorts of aspects of your life. But sometimes we get stuck in, if we can't do it perfect, we're not going to do it at all. We do this with eating healthy, with exercising, with decluttering our house, with sometimes our work or learning something, a project, you name it. We often don't do something because we can't do it perfect. And all of those things would be better if you did something versus nothing. Something is always better than nothing, 99.9% of the time. Section number 4 is cultivating helpful habits. And this is sort of like, all right, you've removed some clutter, you've created some order, you've taken some time to reflect on like yourself and what works for you and how you work. Next, here in this section, we're kind of looking at like how do we take that knowledge to create habits that work for us and for our home. So some of those tidbits that I liked. Do any task that can be done in less than a minute right away. Now, I am 100% full on proponent of this. Don't set it down, put it away is kind of a popular mantra that I can get behind. Because oftentimes, if you just took 10, 20 seconds to do something right now, then it's done. You don't have to worry about it. The clutter is not there. But if you're one of those people who wander around your house or your office or wherever you are, everything you touch just gets set down in sort of the wrong spot, you end up with a disaster at the end of the day that can take you hours to clean up and declutter out of it. So just making an effort to do things right then, it pays off big time. Shop smart. Rubin says, don't walk into a store unless you are shopping for something specific. I have had this conversation, I think, before on this channel on different videos about the fact that I am not good at gift giving. I suck at it, actually, and that's because I do this. I do not shop for fun. I do not shop as a hobby. I am never just walking around a store randomly looking to see what's there. So I just don't come across things that I might think like, oh, this is beautiful. It would be perfect for Jane Doe for Christmas. I should buy it now and save it. No, if a specific thing doesn't pop into my mind that I need to buy for you, I can come up with nothing. So you get no gifts. But that's exactly what she's saying here. Don't shop for fun. Only go shopping when you are specifically looking to buy something. And then don't get a cart. Avoid samples if you go to a store and people are handing out samples, because you are much more likely to buy something you don't need and don't really even want just because you tried a sample of it. So shop smart. Create a space for waiting stuff. Now, if you have things coming and going in your house, and we typically all do, like library books that have to go back to the library, or a package that needs to be dropped into the mail, or I don't know, cans that need to go to the return center, having a place in your house where that type of stuff lives keeps it from just building up randomly all around your house. End each stage of your day with a 10-minute closer. So this could be like before leaving work, making sure that you clean up for the day, or maybe setting up, like preparing what you need for your first morning meeting so you're not scrambling in the morning. Just taking like that 10 minutes to sort of close down the office before you go home. Maybe you do that same thing after dinner. When dinner is done, we do take the 10 minutes to clean up the dishes and close the kitchen before we move on to the rest of the evening. Maybe before bed, you do the same thing. You wander around the house, 10 minutes to pick up, sort of undo everything that you've done all evening and make sure the house is all prepped and ready for morning. And the last section is section 5, add beauty. Once we've gone ahead and decluttered and gotten systems in place that work to help maintain that clutter-free home, we do want to add beauty. We want our homes to be cozy. We want them to be our sanctuary, right? So these are just a few simple things that I took away. Obviously, again, there were more. But Gretchen says maybe choose a signature color or pattern that you love that you can then default to like certain spaces. So if you say purple is your favorite color, maybe make sure there are some purple throw pillows around your house or a purple candle. Or maybe you love paisley. So when you're buying a new planner, you pick the one that has a paisley cover. It's a way to incorporate something that you know you love into your space and also sort of simplifying decisions, right? So if pink is your signature color, then when you go to buy a new case for your phone, you buy the pink one. No questions asked. Use your good stuff. Don't save your nice stuff for someday. You have a nice candle that somebody gifted you, burn it, enjoy it. You have beautiful dishes or fancy wine glasses, use them. I mean, yes, they might break, but what good does it do having them sitting in a cupboard somewhere not being used? It's better to use them every day for a month and then have it break than to not use them at all. Not using them at all is kind of sad. It means you think you and your everyday life are not good enough to enjoy and experience the good things that you have. So wear your nice clothes, use your good dishes, burn the good candles, wear your nice perfume, all of that stuff. Gretchen points out, and I have heard this before, everything looks better on a tray. If you have decor on your coffee table, put it on a serving tray, and then you go from having some random decor to having like a cute little vignette set up. It also takes random items, like it could be items in your bathroom, like maybe, I don't know, hair items or your toothbrush or whatever you might have on the counter. If you kind of congregate those together and put them on a tray, to your brain, that goes from 10 items of clutter whoosh, into one item, one tray. Your brain sees the tray, not each individual item, so it feels less cluttered and just looks classier. And lastly, she suggests to create the mood. Make sure you have like plants or cut flowers. Change your light bulbs so you have like warm light bulbs, light candles. Do something to set the mood and make your home cozy and comfy. Like I said, I only picked out some of the tidbits that I really enjoyed or that I've even like thought or tried or used that I thought were particularly good, but there were plenty more that might speak to you more than they speak to me. So I recommend, lost the book. I recommend picking up a copy of this. Gretchen has other books as well. As a matter of fact, I think one of her first books I ever picked up is one I'm going to reread in December, but we will get to that then. Also, I have a couple other good books coming up. I think next month I'm going to do Atomic Habits, which if you watched my video on Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg, you'll know that I mentioned I have two favorite habit change books. The one was Tiny Habits. The other one is Atomic Habits. So I'm going to reread that and share that with you, I think next month. And that's it. If you've missed any of my videos, again, check them out. I've read some really good books. And if you have any good books that you would recommend to me, go ahead and share them in the comments. I would love to hear. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.